Good morning, guys. We'll continue the chapter. I hope you have gone through my previous classes. By now, I think you may be got a circular or you may be read in the newspaper that CBS is going to or already reduced 30% of syllabus for class 10th and 12th or above class 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. But my question is here, don't get confused or panic on these issues, because there are certain chapters in political science and history are deleted from CBSE. Deleted in the sense, if you read the curriculum of CBSE, it is very clearly mentioned that I can consider those chapters for internal assessment, but those chapters will not be there for the final or the board examination. So my request for you people, whatever the chapters taught to you through the online media, please make note of it, because those chapters I may ask you to submit as the project work or for internal assessment. Project work or internal assessment, 20 marks is there for project works and internal assessment in social science. So because we are in the early months of academic year, because we are in the month of July, examination in the month of March 2021. So that's why I am saying, please make note of all the topics which are taught to you in the online classes. Please make note of all the topics taught to you in the online class. Note in the sense, write down in a notebook, so that this written material can be used as project works or assignments in the later stage when you reach back to the school. Till now I taught you the initial topics of this chapter, that is gender, caste and religion. Now let us move to one of the most hot or debated topic in India, that is caste system in Indian politics. Now here there are topics called caste and politics. There are topics like caste in politics. Then one more topic is there, politics in caste. So caste in India, caste in politics, politics in caste, all three are different. Different in the sense their approach is different. That is what we are studying about, difference. Don't get confused here also. When you are with me, when I am explaining to you, if you follow my explanation, definitely you will come to know about this system. Now let us move to the topic, the caste system in India. Caste system is very unique to India. If you refer or go to any European countries or Scandinavian countries, you may not find the caste like India in those nations. In India we have number of castes. Even a caste got a lot of subcaste. Maybe more than 700 to 800 castes will be there. Registered caste, maybe it is more than that, because every caste, for example, Gauda, Okkaliga, Lingayat, like each caste got a particular Gotra or a subcaste. So caste is a very special to India. At the same time, it is very most dominant factor in Indian political scenario. That is what we study, how caste influence on Indian political system or working of government. That is what we are going to study. So caste system in India, you can see each figure of the cartoon represents a particular caste, particular religion, particular caste. And you may be heard many times the popularly spoken topic is vote bank politics. Vote bank politics is nothing but, we study in the later part of this chapter, vote bank politics. What is vote bank? Vote bank is, for example, if a person belongs to Gauda community, contests for election, he feels or he thinks that people belongs to his community in that locality will definitely vote for him. That is vote bank. That is what vote bank. Bank is what? Imagine you have money in your bank account. Definitely you are the owner of that account, so that you can withdraw the money and you can utilize. That is what we say, vote bank. Vote bank means every caste thinks that they have a definite voters from particular caste. For example, you see, from Mandya. Mandya continuously Amrish won from Mandya. One of the reason is he is a film star. The second reason is his caste members are more in that particular constituency. Because his caste members are there more in that constituency, definitely he can win. That is what the Mandya constituency taught us, means we are seeing from so many years. So vote bank politics, this is very common in India. That is what vote bank. This is a cartoon given in a book. Now you see, it's a VP Singh, Vishwanath Pratap Singh. Every political party got their own vote bank. This is like a lockers. Lockers means safe. It is very safe. Now every political members have their own safe vote bank. You can see here Ram Vilas Paswani is opening the box of SC/ST. That means he is damn sure that SC/ST will definitely vote for him. Mayawati is damn sure that scheduled caste and scheduled tribe will vote for him. Congress is damn sure that minorities will vote for them. This is what we speak about vote bank politics. You can see here these are all the strong rooms or the lockers, safe lockers. So inside the safe lockers, because safe locker, you know very well, safe locker is nothing but you are the owner of that locker, and what is kept inside the locker is very safe. Same way here, the people who belongs to that particular caste definitely vote for that political party or a leader. That is what we speak about vote bank politics. Vote bank politics is one of the major factor in India which decides the psyche or decides the winning proportion in Indian political system. Take for example, let us take the example of last election. Why Siddaramaiah from Congress contested from Badami, same vote bank politics. Why Rahul Gandhi went to all the way to Wayanad in Kerala, vote bank politics. Why Narendra Modi contested from Kashi or Varanasi, because a particular community members are more in that particular locality. So damn sure somebody belongs to that community. If he contested from the election, definitely. Of course, the popularity of Modi, Rahul Gandhi and Siddaramaiah is a different factor, but still the vote bank politics definitely works in that particular constituency. Here you can see in Indian political scenario, unfortunately, Indian political scenario is dominated, controlled by the caste system. You can see here the casteism is such a pandemic or such a major disease which controls the social cause. Politics or the government or the political leaders should always work for the upliftment or welfare of the society. But once they are in the power, they try to appease or try to favor their caste. So this chair of politics is used to promote the casteism. That is what it is explained in this cartoon. So in India, unfortunately, the casteism dominates, controls or regulates Indian political system. I hope you are able to understand what I am explaining. Let's just move to the topics. That is caste and politics. In this caste and politics, I told you caste and politics is different. Caste in politics is different. And one more is politics in caste. All the three topics are different. I will explain all the three different topics in a different slides so that you will understand in a correct way. Let us see caste and politics. This is what we left out general topic of that particular chapter. Caste in politics is very special to India when compared to the other nations, which I explained to you. When you visit Scandinavian countries, European countries, or the countries belongs to American continent, in these countries we may not find the caste like which is there in India. Because in India, casteism is very unique or very special to India. Because most of these European countries are the Christian countries. There you can see only Catholics and Roman Catholics and the Protestants and some other caste like Hindus, religion, Hindus, Muslims and all. But like India, definitely you cannot find such an abundant plenty of a large number of caste system in any of these countries. Move to the second. Caste system in India was originated on the basis of occupational division of labor. In this context, I will explain you what you studied in the previous classes. What you studied. In India, how caste system is origin. Caste system is origin in the typical concept of occupational division of labor. Means Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Brahmana is a person who was taking care of the work related to temple. Kshatriya was protecting the people. Vaishya is a person who was involved in trade. A person who belongs to, a person who is helping all the three was called as Shudra. Here, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, not by birth. It was by their occupation. We have plenty of examples in the history where Mayura Sharma was a Brahmin, but later he converted or he changed himself to Kshatriya and started Kadambas of Banavasi dynasty. Lord Parashurama was a Brahmin, but he took a oath of killing Kshatriyas, and at the end of the end he himself turned as a Kshatriya. So what we have to understand in India, caste system is not originated as by birth. Today we are belong to a caste because my parents belong to a caste. I am born in that family, so naturally I belong to that caste, that religion. But initially, if you refer Indian Rigvedic period, caste was not by birth. It was by occupational division of labor. Means society should run smoothly. That's why they change, you do this work and you do this work. Like that, they divided the work. That is what we say. So when we search the origin of the caste system in India, we should not blame Indian caste system was bad. It was not bad. It is later stages of India. We ourselves made the caste system is very complex way. Otherwise, it was purely on the basis of what work you are doing, not by birth. That is what we speak. Occupational division of labor. Moving to next. That is, in a society, caste creates inequality based on the heredity of occupational division. Slowly, when society progressed, what happened? When slowly society progressed, the inequality started. Means high caste, low caste, superior, inferior. This is purely because of the hereditary occupational division of labor. Means a Shudra who is helping all the caste was considered as lower in his job. So now Shudra was given a status of a caste because of his hereditary occupation, the occupation which is received from his forefathers or his family. So king's son naturally become the successor of that particular kingdom. So the caste system slowly took the turn of hereditary occupation. When it got to the term of hereditary occupation, it led to the inequality. Higher jobs or lower jobs, naturally it led to the higher caste and lower caste. Now what happened in the later stages? Now what happened even today, you can see even in 21st century, how caste system is dominates that we try to find a bride or bridegroom or marriage proposals generally within the caste. So marriages and other social practices. Other social practices means birth ceremony, death ceremony, or social gatherings, any other social gatherings and all. Generally, we prefer to call the people belongs to our own caste. We generally call people belongs to our own caste, or marriages within the caste, or social gathering within the caste. This all lead to the, what happened? This all lead to the increase in the intensity of caste system. Imagine you belong to a caste and you arrange a marriage function from the same caste. At that time, if you call someone who is considered as a lower caste in the society, then what will happen? Every family members of yours definitely raise their eyebrows towards you. Why you called him? Why you invited him to this function? This is what the Indian mentality. This is what the Indian mentality. That is what we say. We have several social practices. Still, these social practices within the caste. Another number point 5. Caste discrimination leads to outcast of a group. For example, practice of untouchability, honor killing, etc. Now, when we divide the society on the basis of caste, then it leads to outcast. Take for example, today Dalits feel that they are not the part of this society, they are not the part of Hinduism, they are not the part of that religion. Why? Because they were treated very badly, they are treated very badly. When they were and they are treated very badly, they themselves feel they are outcasted. Outcasted is nothing but, imagine you are visiting one of your family members' house. 1 or 2 days they speak to you in a very cordial manner, they offer you tea and all those things. But after a few days, once we started visiting, they start neglecting you. When they started neglecting you, naturally what happened? You feel alienated. When you feel alienated, what will happen? You generally don't want to visit that particular home next time. That is what, the same way, when a particular caste is not respected in the society, when a particular caste is not given the status in the society, naturally that caste will feel that we are outcast, we don't belong to this society. As a result, they themselves feel different. For example, in India we had different practices. For example, practice of untouchability. Touching a lower caste, person belongs to a lower caste was not considered as good in India. That is, you just discriminated basis on the birth and color. That was not correct. So, untouchability. Nowadays you can see a lot of news coming related to honor killing. Means, if intercaste marriages are arranged between higher caste and lower caste, there are a number of examples in India where if a upper caste boy marries a lower caste girl or a lower caste boy marries an upper caste girl, generally the families involved, they make sure that they will murder or kill these two couples because they feel somewhere their honor, respect of the caste is under threat. That is the most tragic incident because we have n number of examples in Chennai. This happened. Arushi Talwar case, a lot of cases which we searched in India. Honor killing is nothing but they feel that we have to kill this person to save our honor, respect of our caste. That is also one of the tragic or a bad impact of caste in India. There are n number of examples in India where the social reformers try to change the caste system in India. We studied in class 8, Jyotiba Phule, Gandhiji, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Sri Narayana Guru, Periyar Ramaswamy Naidu. There are many more who made an effort to change in the caste system. For example, Sri Narayana Guru. Sri Narayana Guru belongs to Ilava community. Those days in Kerala, his community members were not allowed to enter the temples. So what he's done? He done a great revolution by establishing temples and making the people belong to his caste to do worship or prayers in that particular temple. Today, SNDP, Sri Narayana Guru, Dharma Paripalana Samiti, this is a very rich organization in Kerala. They have plenty or large number of temples throughout Kerala. That is what the effort of Sri Narayana Guru. Periyar Ramaswamy Naidu started self-respect movement. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar started a lot of reforms, that is temple entry movement in 1927. Gandhiji started the Harijan movement. Gandhiji called lower caste people as Harijans. Hari means God. They are the sons of God. So, in past, even you can see Basavana or Basaveshwara done lot of social reforms. So, in India, enough example has done. We can find lot of examples which definitely they try to change the caste system in India for a period of time. That's why a person who lived his life in 10th century, 15th century, and person like you and me who live our life in 21st century, our sufferings, our exploitations may not be same like them. They suffered more than us. We are far better because we are born in independent India, and India which is more literate and more developed. Okay, with this I will stop today's class. We will continue in next class. Please, once again I repeat, please make note of all these points in a notebook in a systematic way. Thank you.